Picking the right rod and reel for any bait situation can really make a big difference in the amount of success you're going to have at the end of the day. For me, my setup for fishing Slim, the new Rapala OG Slim, is very similar. It's the exact same setup that I fish a lot of my shallow crankbaits on. For me, this rod and reel setup handles basically any crankbait I'm going to fish, from a 0-foot diver down to maybe a bait that'll run 6 or 8 feet deep. That's about as deep as what I'm going to fish on this setup, because I'm generally going to be fishing it around some type of target, or it's just not something that I'm throwing out, you know, great big long distances. But this setup, I can throw this thing pretty good a country mile, especially with a bait like Slim. But it's a Bass Pro crank and stick. This is a 7-foot medium heavy action rod. It's a Johnny Morse Platinum 6.8 to 1 gear ratio reel. The big thing for me, and something I get asked about quite often, is what line do you fish your crankbaits on? For me, I fish all my crankbaits on fluorocarbon line. For Slim, I'm generally going to err on the side of a little bit heavier. I'm going to go with 14-pound XPS fluorocarbon line. If I'm really trying to get that bait as deep as I possibly can, I may drop it down to 12, especially if I'm not fishing it around any heavy cover, you know, maybe just gravel or a little bit of rock. But if I'm around any type of wood and I'm, you know, especially targeting really big fish, I'm going to go with 14-pound XPS fluorocarbon. Now, if I want to fish Slim in really shallow water, like a lot of 2 to 3, maybe 4 feet deep, I will step that up to 17-pound test. Again, if I'm in really heavy cover and fishing for, you know, just giants, but in really shallow water like that. You can determine the depth of that bait a little bit with the line size, but 14-pound test is my go-to all-around setup. So Bass Pro crank and stick, 7-foot medium heavy, Johnny Morse Platinum, fluorocarbon line, and something I'll have on all my rod and reels are those reel grips. Just adds a little bit extra grip there on the handles. But that's the perfect setup for all of your shallow cranking, especially for Slim.